This is Coach Chris Holtmann. You're listening to Drive the Lane podcast.
Drive the Lane podcast coming to you on a Saturday. We'll get to that a little more in a second. We got a packed episode for you, for our fans, for the people. Hashtag Zolden and Lane 2020. What a great episode. Double interview. Finally, Jae'Sean Tate joins the show. The Sydney King, the King of Sydney himself. Jae'Sean Tate joins the show. And Chad Forbes, NFL draft analyst insider, joins the show to talk a little bit about the Buckeyes in the draft. Two completely different people, completely different interviews, but they mesh well together for a perfect combo episode. But before we get to that, Drive the Lane podcast is presented to you by High Street Tees. Our shirts are in stock. Our shirts have shipped out, and now you can get one too. Use our promo code DTL15 for 15% off your order. Head on over to highstreettees.com/DTL. All their gear is 15% off your complete order with our promo code DTL15. Mama's Pass and Brew, RIP. They got it all. Me and Mr. Mustard's. Buckeye Donuts. Threes. You know we love our three shirts. I haven't taken them off since we got them. The Buckeyes are 13-1 in football since we got them. highstreettees.com/DTL. Promo code DTL15. Buckle up. That's my seatbelt. And let's drive the lane, boys and girls.
Alrighty. Before we get into this episode, we would like to give you full disclosure that the Michigan-Ohio State game has not happened, but we do want to congratulate Ohio State on winning.
Yes, congratulations to the Buckeyes.
Huge
and
win.
We're not even going to cut this out if they lose, because they're not going to lose.
Well, I'm not going to do it.
I'm not doing it.
Okay.
So congrats to the Buckeyes, 2-0 this week.
What a win.
2-0 this week, beat Nebraska, beat Michigan at home.
Too bad Kyle Young didn't play.
Yeah.
I honestly, if anyone did know, it would be me, but I don't know, and I don't think he's going to play.
This was a big week for the Buckeyes, who solidified themselves as Big Ten tournament contenders with these two big wins this week. Dwayne Washington had a great game against Nebraska.
He is hot. He's on fire.
An even better game against Michigan. He's killing it.
You know who was unbelievable, though? Caleb Wesson. The Michigan just can't seem to stop big men this year.
The bully. Hashtag the bully. You hear that, Jared Solinger? Hashtag the bully.
Oh, man. I can't wait for Caleb to forego his last year of eligibility and have shirts that say the bully after Ohio State won the Big Ten championship against Maryland, and then
am I gonna get
the Big Ten tournament championship?
Am I gonna get residuals?
No, and then we make a run to the Elite Eight, and he becomes the next person in Ohio State basketball folklore, and he's gonna have shirts that say the bully. It's just gonna be great.
You know what we should do? We should, when we go.
We'll
to the
have
Big
him
Ten
on to
tournament,
announce them.
Well, no, when we go to the Big Ten tournament, we should get white shirts and just in a Sharpie hashtag the bully and wear them at the Big Ten tournament.
Or
nope, we're doing that.
We could get regular shirts that say hashtag the bully.
But I think it's cooler if it maybe
you
not
can do that.
Maybe not drawn on, but the design will look like it's just like a Sharpie or like a marker on a whiteboard. But like we won't actually draw it. Like we'll make a logo that looks like that.
And maybe have Caleb's face on it.
Yeah, maybe.
To make it make sense.
Fine.
And then we get a couple of bigger shirts to give to Keith Wesson.
And then on the back is Mark Turgeon crying.
On the back it says, I hate 9 p.m. starts.
Viral meme. Or not viral.
Verbal.
That's coronavirus. Verbal meme. Verbal meme. Okay. The guy from Jaws saying we're going to need a bigger boat, but it's Mark Turgeon's head. And then the shark swimming up, and when it comes out of the water, it's Caleb Wesson. The bully. Or a picture of someone giving someone a wedgie, and it's Caleb Wesson.
Oh, that's good.
I might make that.
That's
I'm going to make that right now. After this episode,
really good.
I'm going to make that.
Or like a person putting someone's head in a toilet.
Yeah,
like
but then you can't
see
the person's head unless it's from the picture.
But you just
unless the picture's taken from
whatever.
inside the toilet.
Yeah, sure.
The reason we're kind of not really talking a whole lot about the Buckeyes right now is if the game goes south tomorrow, we don't want to.
I will say I did say that
Michigan.
I will say that Michigan I said is the second best team in the Big Ten when they have Isaiah Livers, and then they lost to Wisconsin. So Wisconsin might be the best team in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
But we're not saying that because for a bunch of reasons. But also we don't know who the best team is. We'll just say it's Ohio State. Sure, Ohio State's the best team in the Big Ten, especially after their huge win against Michigan, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I think Michigan State is about to hit there.
That's who I trust the most in the Big Ten, that's for sure. But speaking of other teams that people are excited about in the Big Ten, we're watching Penn State versus Iowa right now. Luka Garza's 3 for 16 in the first half. That's your Big Ten Player of the Year?
It's not mine. Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me. No, obviously he's incredible. He's having an unbelievable year, but man, it is hard to watch him sometimes. It's like, God, this dude's unathletic. He's slow. But he just gets it done. It's unreal.
Mm-hmm.
But Iowa's a fun team to watch because they're so damn good on offense and so damn bad on defense. The games are just, it's just fun to watch. I mean, like, Iowa got their point guard back, C.J. Frederick, who I patented the phrase "the Great White Hope." He's a freshman, young guy, stud.
We should just go to the Big Ten tournament with like 15 different shirts of nicknames that we came up with.
Yeah,
and we'll
just
take
them off.
off the shirts. Well, we probably don't need to wear all of them for the first game.
We'll bring a backpack in.
We'll bring a backpack of shirts.
So
and security's going to stop us. And security's going to be like, what do you have in there? And they're just going to say,
We're going to be like, we're sorry, we have a Northwestern
all right,
t-shirt.
so we got the bully. We got the Great White Hope. We got hashtag second best team in the Big Ten when Isaiah Livers plays.
Yeah, except for we don't. Nothing about Michigan.
Nothing about Michigan, even though full disclosure.
So what are we going to do when Minnesota plays Nebraska in the first round?
Hashtag is Trevor Mbakwe still on the team? Question mark. Because he's the only Minnesota player that I know.
No, it's funny how, I don't know, is Patino on the hot seat? That's
Never. You know his last name?
yeah. Apparently they love him. I would love him too. I would like to play for him. He seems like a guy I'd like to play for. But they've had some, like Amir Coffey should still be there, you know? And the fact that he's not kind of hurts them. Let's see, what else? What about when Northwestern plays? Who would they play? Who's the third to last place team? Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana. When Northwestern plays Indiana, Archie Miller hot seat.
Yeah. Oh, don't tell Dockage that. He'll scream at you again. Oh, we got to link up with him and Indy. Indy's going to be fun.
Archie Miller should be fired after this year. I don't see it. Sorry.
You don't see it what? Him staying?
Yeah, no, I don't see him being the future for Indiana basketball.
Yeah.
Like, he was almost my coach.
All right, let's talk about the Bucks for a second. All right. Do you think this
No Kyle Young, no problem. That's
Do you
a
think
headline
this
for that
Ohio
game.
State team legitimately can win the Big Ten tournament? Because I say yes.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
I think
Any
they might not
team
be a
could
top
win it.
4 seed, but they're probably
They
one
won't
of
be a
the
top
more,
4 seed.
They're probably they could still be, but they're probably one of the most 4 likely
Most
to
4
win.
likely. I agree.
One of the best 4 odds.
4 most likely.
4 most likely.
Yeah.
One of the 4 most likely. Yeah.
The most likeliest.
Yeah.
Of the 4.
Yeah. I think we always talk about, before DJ Carton's leave, I always said that DJ Carton should be in the starting lineup. And you would always say no. And then I think Dwayne should be in the starting lineup. It's like there's all these guys that could be in the starting lineup. I think Duane Washington.
CJ Frederick highlights on the game.
Well,
Hold on.
if Duane Washington can start the game off with 2 threes, that is
I
so
think we'll
valuable.
win a lot of games.
It's so valuable. And he does it. Every time he starts hot.
No, I'm not going to tell Holtmann what to do, obviously. He knows way more than me. When everyone's healthy, like the numbers that we put up when Dwayne starts instead of like Dre, and obviously I love Andre. When it's CJ Walker, Luther, Dwayne, Kyle, and Caleb versus, and you switch Dre and
right
Dwayne.
now it's Dre over Kyle though.
Right, but I'm saying with that lineup, that just seems a little bit more. I don't know. There's just a little more oomph to it, but and that works because Dre is the type of guy that he does not give a flying, what. If he starts, he just wants to win. But we still win when Dre starts, so I don't know.
Yeah, the team was the hottest though at the beginning of the year, right when he got hurt, and that was the starting lineup.
Right. So I don't know.
But it's tough to look at that because he came back and they didn't miss a beat.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's a confidence thing for Dwayne. I know he's told me that he does not mind coming off the bench. Like he sees it as like a cool challenge, like to be that energizer guy. So, but it's a good problem to have.
You can't be an energizer guy when you're scoring 56 points a game. It's not like the NBA where where your spark off the bench will come in and give you 25, like Lou Williams, you know?
Well, that's no one in college does
Right,
that.
but it's
really.
like the spark off the bench in college, I feel like doesn't exist as much because there's not volume scoring in college, and there's a 4-minute. Then you could come
fair.
in and hit a 3, and then there's a 5-minute TV timeout 1 second later. It's like I just think he's a valuable starter, and
Let's just start 6 guys. Can we do that?
yeah, I might wear a start Dwayne Washington shirt to the
Okay.
Big Ten tournament.
All right.
Even if he's the starter.
I will. Well,
This is my ideal starting lineup, and it's exactly what you just said.
yeah. We don't even need to. But
Right.
no, your ideal starting lineup has DJ Carton in it. So
Well, that's impossible right now.
okay. Well,
Will he play in the Big Ten tournament? What do we think? I don't
I don't
think
think so either. I think he's done so.
Forever so?
Not forever. I don't think he wants to leave Ohio State. I don't think he wants to go to the NBA. I mean, if he was, I love the guy, like a little brother. Like I love him. But if he wasn't ready for college basketball, is he ready for the NBA? Yeah.
I didn't mean done.
God, Garza, I hate him.
I didn't mean done and going to the NBA.
No, I know. He I'll say that I think DJ loves Ohio State and he loves his teammates and he loves the coaches. There's no question about that. He just had some shit to get figured out, and a lot of young people have that, and they don't do that. So I think that he'll come back better than ever next year and be a huge piece to a really successful team that includes the likes of Duane Washington as the Big Ten Player of the Year. So
Yeah, that that I believe that. I think he will. I think he will be Big Ten Player of the Year next year, and he will also be in the discussion for Player of the Year. Which obviously, if you're Big Ten Player of the Year, you're going to be in the discussion for Player of the Year. This year's a little weird in the Big Ten where everyone's beating everyone.
No, but Garza's still in. He's gonna be a first-team All-American.
Yeah, but I also think
which is insane.
I also think it's a big summer
Because he looks like Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah, I think it's a big summer for Dwayne Washington.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't think he's just gonna all of a sudden get more minutes and be Big Ten Player of the Year. Like he's gotta work his ass off this summer.
Yeah.
I might have to get in the gym with him, show him a thing or two.
He probably wouldn't. He probably wouldn't have worked hard if he didn't. That's right. It's a big summer for him.
What? Silver lining.
It's always a big summer.
Silver lining to, yeah. But last year, whatever, is a big summer. But they still have 58 guards this year. It's gonna.
No, I know.
Or they still have Caleb. That's why. Like it.
Should we? Let's
Wait. Last thing I want to say about kind of this topic. Silver lining to Kyle Young being hurt right now is E.J. Liddell playing more meaningful minutes before the tournament.
Absolutely.
I love E.J. Liddell.
Should we fast forward to next year's team real quick?
Yeah.
Think about how good they're gonna be.
Yeah.
C.J. Walker, Sr., Luther Muhammad, Jr., Dwayne Washington Jr., E.J. Liddell.
The monument. We have to wear the monument shirt too. The monument. Washington.
You
monument.
can make all these shirts. I'm gonna show up probably wearing the Holman more meticulous.
No, we have to wear the bully one.
I will. I'll wear that as long as it's a good T-shirt. I'm not gonna wear a Sharpie T-shirt.
Yeah, I know. We'll make good ones.
And hopefully they're playing more than one game, so we can wear a couple different T-shirts. But anyway, E.J. Liddell, who, if you didn't know, he's a junior also, but his name is E.J., so it doesn't make sense to say. It's redundant if you say junior at the end. He won't like this, but his name's Eric. And then and then Kyle Young. It's a pretty good team. He was a senior. It's a pretty good team. Oh my God, are we gonna be preseason number 1 next year?
I don't know how much
Preseason.
I don't know how
your Ohio State Buckeyes.
Okay,
Big Ten
obviously
favorites.
the guards are incredible, but I don't know how good
DJ Carton's coming off
I don't
the
know
bench.
how good the EJ Kyle. That's a big downgrade, obviously.
Well, when you lose
from Caleb,
arguably
scoring wise, defense and rebounding, you might be an upgrade. Not necessarily rebounding because Caleb grabs every, but like
no, but you underestimate the fact that Kyle Young, you can throw it into him and he can make a move and score. But it's not. You're replacing Caleb Weston, so yeah, the big men aren't going to score as much, but it's just going to be different.
I think Dwayne
basketball.
Washington's going to average 17.5 to 19 next year.
That's not enough to win Big Ten Player of the Year, probably.
I bet if we look at what the last however many Big Ten players, none of them average over 20. K didn't average 20. He didn't.
In the Big Ten, he absolutely did.
Maybe, but I'm
looking at it right now.
Okay, while you look at that, I'm going to talk about what should I talk about?
Oh, you know what we'll talk about? I think the best breakfast in fast food is Chick-fil-A.
You haven't had Taco Bell breakfast. Unmatched.
First of all, McDonald's is at a legendary Hall of Fame elite status. That probably can't be touched.
All right, it's like that theory that I talked about with Titus, where
no one can ever touch Brad.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that theory. It's like that theory where McDonald's is the best, so it's not like he said Jahlil Okafor is the best big man he's ever seen in the post. Basketball theory, because he's not better than Shaq.
Yeah.
No, but
right, okay.
Yeah.
So
Chick-fil-A is the best basketball ever. Basketball theory.
No.
Chick-fil-A is the best breakfast ever. Basketball theory, because McDonald's is untouchable. It's in a league of its own.
Sure. Okay. That's fine. So it's just you're basically fighting for second place.
Right. It's like St. Louis says that they have the second biggest Mardi Gras. I think they should say they have the biggest Mardi Gras outside of New Orleans. That sounds better. Right?
You're trying to rebrand the.
Yeah, I'm trying to rebrand Mardi Gras.
I'm trying to find the stats. I can find the winners, but I'm trying to find the stats. Breaking news. EJ Kushner, one of Jae'Sean Tate's agents, who we have on later in the show. He's in Australia. Well, he watched JT's game last night. They won. By the time you're listening to this, they played another game as well. We don't know the outcome, but congratulations on them to making it to the finals.
Well, we already in the interview congratulate him on winning the finals and getting to the and winning a championship with the Lakers.
That's true. But he just said, "Bro, what a game!" About the game in Australia. They came back from down 16 with 6 minutes left.
Sydney Kings stay Kings.
Yeah, no, but I can't find the stats. But let's just go. Cash is absolutely averaged more than 20 last year. Right?
I don't think so, dude.
Okay, I gotta research harder. I might put down the headset and go get my laptop. That's right there. I'm gonna do that.
All right, we'll update that at the end of the show. So listen all the way through, or you can just Google it and you'll hear who has won the last few Big Ten Players of the Year and what they averaged, and we will update you at the end of the show. Right now,
before we get to the ad, before we get to the interview, want to give a shout out to Adam Gold, who I saw on the train yesterday on the way home from downtown Chicago. He would not stop talking about how awesome the podcast is. So whenever people do that and you see us in person, you tell us, you will get a shout out, but especially Adam, who is the absolute man and was my walk-on protege as a high schooler. So.
And back to what Joey was saying about the ad before the interview. We still don't have one. We are looking for sponsors. We are looking for sponsorships. Please reach out to us. We want to make your company money. That's what we do. Now we're going to get to our interview with JT. And after that, you'll hear some.
Hold on. If you're out there and you love sports gambling or you do something with sports gambling, we'll sponsor you. That's done. Probably for free.
You'll sponsor us.
You'll sponsor us. We'll sponsor you. It's mutual. For free. Consider it done.
All right, buckle up, drive the lane. Here's JT.
That sounded so degenerate of me. Oh, my God.
Here's like a 4-hour interview with JT and then a shorter interview with Chad Forbes.
JT was awesome.
I'm not complaining.
I know.
I'm just saying.
And Chad Forbes was awesome. Yeah. And they were both longer than we expected.
You guys are going to enjoy this.
It literally, though, I think
this is our longest episode in a while.
It'll be like a 40-minute interview.
We ramble at the beginning.
It'll be like a 40-minute interview with JT and a 20-minute interview with Chad Forbes. Buckle up, drive the lane.
Buckle up and drive the lane.
Okay, we now welcome onto the Drive the Lane podcast someone near and dear to my heart, my former teammate, Ohio State legend, Sydney Australian legend, Jae'Sean Tate. JT, buddy, so great to have you on.
Nah, thanks for having me, man. I know we've been talking about doing this for a while, so I'm pretty happy and pretty excited to finally get it done, man.
Absolutely. For those of you listening that don't know, JT is playing in a different hemisphere, so it's a little bit harder for us to find a good time that works for both of us, because right now it's tomorrow for you, right?
Yeah, it's 1:41 Friday p.m. So,
and we're recording this at 8:41 p.m. on Thursday. So,
and that means that this will come out on a
Tuesday
for you,
but
maybe?
A Monday for us.
Yeah,
it's pretty difficult. But once you're over here for a while, you get to figure out when you talk to people. My best time to get on the phone and with family and friends is around 8 a.m. to about. I'll have a few more hours now, so in the mornings are great for me, and then if I stay up late at night, I'll be able to catch them midnight my time when they're waking up.
Perfect. So we know when to call you now.
Yeah.
Exactly. JT, tell us about Australia, about your experience there beyond basketball. How are you loving it so far?
For all the viewers, just so you know, there aren't any kangaroos hopping around. That is a myth. I have not seen one kangaroo since I've been here. Haven't seen any snakes. Haven't seen any. I've seen little lizards, little geckos, but other than
Little
that,
geckos.
yeah. Other than that, man, it's pretty similar to how we live in the States, but the weather's just beautiful, man. Like, I'm right on the water, Sydney, Australia. I mean, you don't think of Australia unless you're thinking of Sydney. So it's a pretty big city, and the people here are great. The sights are great, and man, I've just been enjoying it.
Well, that's good. It seems like your team's enjoying you too. 16.4 points a game, team MVP. It's pretty impressive. What's clicking for you over there? Across the pond.
Way across the pond.
Across the ocean.
Yeah.
No, I think so. It's pretty rare and pretty great story, and I mean, we've already made history with the team what the things we've done this year, but we have Will Weaver, who is a first-year coach in the NBL. He actually won the G League championship last year with Brooklyn's G League team, and him and the Kings put together a really, really great, just really great team and really great people in place around the team. This is the first year of the ownership. The ownership changed, and this really was a year to build culture, man. And once I heard that, and the roster that they had with Didi Lozada, who was drafted 35th in last year's draft, to the Pelicans, Casper Ware, who's a legend, man, on the West Coast, and Andrew Bogut. I mean, once you see a roster like that, they also have Kevin Lish, who played at St. Louis, for anybody who follows college basketball, and he's won 2 NBL MVPs over here in the championship. So there's just a lot of guys on this team that it was hard not to join, man. And we ended up winning the Premier, which is, we won the most games in, I think, NBL history in the regular season, and we led in first place from start to finish. So going into the playoffs, which start tomorrow, man, we're just looking to make more history.
It's awesome, man. You're all the Ohio State fans that are listening know that you're a winner. It's good that transfers to wherever you go.
Yeah, definitely, man. I feel that love and support. Even over here, you know how our fan base is, and that's why I wanted to be a part of Buckeye Nation, because one thing it is, when you join that brotherhood and that family, it's a forever thing, and they definitely show their love and support. And I'm all the way on the other side of the world.
It's awesome.
So before we kind of jump into a bunch of Ohio State things, I am a little curious, a little more about the NBL. What's the biggest difference between playing college basketball versus playing pro basketball?
Pro basketball or professional in the NBL?
Professional in the NBL.
Good question. Good question, JT.
You're good. Good journalist.
No, it's just I did my first stint of my career over in Belgium, and it was definitely a big difference, and just the style of play depending on what country you're playing in. The Spanish league is a lot faster, whereas the NBL is very physical. I think that like Australians in general, you see Delhi, how he plays. It's just hard nosed, and it's a physical game, man. And I think they get that just from the love and the support they get around the footy, which is, rugby. And they kind of translate to the basketball court, which also feeds into my game, and the reason why I thought I had a pretty great career at Ohio State, just the physical play. And I think the difference is between, college and professional in the NBL is just that you're dealing with grown men. And anytime you're dealing with grown men, it makes it a little harder. I mean, these are guys who have done so much in their career, and the game is slowed down. They know exactly what they want to do, and with that, I've gotten so much better. Just playing with guys. I mean, Andrew Bogut is an NBA champion, and he's 35 years old, and running to be another champion in the NBL, but also going to play in the Olympics. So just being around older guys, I've gotten better and getting stronger. You have to. You got to be strong to survive in this grown man league.
Yeah, do you think the Big Ten, even though what you said, like it's grown men versus some dudes in college.
Yeah.
You think the Big Ten though probably prepared you as well as any conference could, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like till this day, I mean, I know that the style of play and the way refs call games, they try to clean it up a little bit, but I still would say that if you sit down and watch a Big Ten game, that it's the most physical conference in college basketball right now.
For sure. So before we talk about the Big Ten, last question: what's next for you? I know your dreams and aspirations. You're done in 2 weeks, whether you win the championship or not, which I assume you're going to, and I'm assuming. But what's next for Jae'Sean Tate?
Yeah, definitely. You know how our mindset is. We control what we can control, and right now we're just focused on winning tomorrow's playoff game, man. And definitely there has been some buzz around the NBA and potential call-ups and all, but I told my agent right now we're focused on just winning this championship, because once you control that and handle that, more doors of opportunity open. So that's how I just been approaching this year and approaching each game, and I mean it's got us in first place, and that's one thing that you want to add to your resume, because no matter what, if you're a winner, people will want you.
Absolutely.
So you've been around, obviously some NBA guys, and there's also some guys who are potentially trying to get drafted. What's your thoughts on kind of LaMelo and RJ Hampton? Are they legit? Have you gone toe-to-toe with them? Are they top 5 picks?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely held their own. I mean, you got to think, I just told you guys, like, this is a grown man league. I think the average age over here is like 29, 30 years old. So for any young guy, 19, 20 years of age, to come over here and be able to hang with, older guys and really hang with them. I mean, Melo averaged almost a triple-double, and RJ was right behind him, averaging double-digit points and I think like 3 or 4 rebounds and assists. So those guys are legit, man. And I'm really happy to follow their careers, and I've talked to them a few times, on the court and off the court over here, and they're also just good dudes off the court. And we're going to see, man. But I'm sure they'll have a promising career, because I've seen the potential they have, but also just how good of players they are right now.
You're a very humble dude, JT, because I know, I kind of said it before, but I see you in the NBA soon. I really do, just based on, what you've been doing. Dan DP pulling some strings for you, the whole 9 yards. I'm excited for you, man. But let's talk Ohio State, okay?
Whoa. And just so you know, people who come on this podcast tend to have success not too far after. So
yeah, he's not wrong.
It's in the cards. We will.
Hey.
Congratulations on your NBL championship, and congratulations on signing with the Lakers for their championship run. A pre-congratulations.
Hey man, you guys I should have been on this podcast earlier. Then, if that's the case.
Hey, you didn't need us, okay? You didn't need us. But actually, though, let's talk about Ohio State. I know it's got to be hard to watch the games, but I know you are following. How often you get a chance to see them? Like, are you watching them right now? We're recording during one of the games.
Yeah, I definitely get the updates sent to my phone. The scores and check the box scores. There's still multiple players on that team that are my little brothers, man. People that I actually used to take to court with when I was back in college. So just keeping tabs on them and checking in on them here and there, and not trying to stray away, but also just letting them focus on their time, man. And I'm always going to be a fan of the game. I'm always going to be in debt to Coach Holtmann, man. He really helped my game while I was there, so I always keep in contact with the coaching staff. They always hit me up. My boy Diebler's back on the coaching staff there at Ohio State. I actually was talking to Q and Doc before I got on the phone with you guys. So I'm never straying too far away, even though I'm all the way on the other side of the world. It's always a brotherhood, and I'm excited for what they have coming this March.
For sure. It would be a disservice if we didn't talk about Holtmann, because we feel the same way about Coach Mata, and we love him and love everything. We're just kind of like what you said. We're forever indebted to him as well. But talk about Holtmann and the impact that he had on you, because I think that Keita was a super talented guy. He was going to do whatever he was going to do, but I really do think that Holtmann impacted your career in a way that no one else he didn't have on the same for other players. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. Just to go off of, what you're saying, I love that. And I love what that has helped me with and prove as not only a basketball player, but also just a man. That is always going to be one of my favorite coaches to play with. And then to just piggyback right off of that and have just this great guy and a great players coach come in after, some of those struggles we got in my junior year, and Chris Holtmann come in, man, and pick up the beat and say that, look, I know how it usually is when new coaches come in. They use senior year as a sweep to get those older guys out, but that wasn't the case with Coach Holt and the staff, man. They really just let me and Keita, ride the wave to the tournament, man. And he also got me up off the block and allowed me to play some point guard, which kind of opened some opportunities, and it really translates to my game now, man. Even over here in Australia, I'm bringing it up the court, a lot of the time. And I'm always indebted to, Coach Holtmann for not only giving me the confidence, but also just allowing other people to see that I'm able to do it.
Do you remember the conversation that we had after it would be your junior year, my sophomore year, when we were terrible? We're in the weight room for 6 a.m. workouts, and me and JT would always work out together, not because we lifted the same weights, but because we both had really bad shoulder issues. So we were always, when people were bench pressing, we were kind of doing push-ups and doing our own thing.
Man.
The push-up circuit was no joke.
Man, that was back when we had Coach Rich, right?
Right,
Papa
exactly. But
Man.
do you remember? Well, we won't talk about the day that Jaquan quit, but do you remember the day that
You quit?
Yeah. Do you remember the day that you told me you were going to go play football and not play basketball the next year?
Yeah, I did, man. That was really a low point in my basketball career, man. I was ready to hang it up and go play with Herbs. It was kind of tough, man. They win every year over there. You get tired of losing, and you like, man, I can at least piggyback off them. But no, that was another thing why, I love Coach Mata and that staff, because they really talked me into staying, man. I went and had a meeting with Dad, and he was just like, look, man, you can't abandon shit right now. This is your legacy, man. You've been a captain of this team since you were a sophomore. Why would you leave? You can't leave this ship. You got to finish this. And if you want to play football after that, then be my guest. But to be a 3-year captain, you have to finish it out. And it was one of the best decisions I made of my life, because, man, I really got love for this game, and it's taken me places, man. This has been one of the greatest years I can say of my, professional career, but also just basketball, man. I'm genuinely happy. I'm getting better every day, and that wouldn't have happened if I never had that meeting with Coach Mata in his office.
That's awesome, dude. But we all know that you would have been a great tight end, right?
Maybe. I don't know with these shoulders, though.
Joey and I always talk about, well, I guess we haven't done this in a while, but we talked with Sully and Diebler and Kraft about which Ohio State basketball players of the past would be the best football players, and you were on everyone's list.
First mention.
First, yeah.
Man, that would have been something. You never know, man. Maybe I'll go out for the Browns, man. They always need some help.
Well, here's what's going to happen. Tom Brady's going to sign with the Bears, and then he's going to say, you know what, we need some tight end help. Call up Jae'Sean Tate of the Sydney Kings. That's my ideal target.
Hey, I've seen Tom. We've all seen Tom turn, turn bums into all-stars, man. So I'm a believer. If Tom Brady calls my phone, you'll see me on that gridiron. That's for sure.
I'm just picturing, not only would my mom love to have you back in the city, but then you're also catching passes from Tom Brady, and I'm sitting in the first row. That seems pretty good to me.
You don't even, with Tom, you don't even gotta catch it. You just gotta open your hands. He just puts it in your pocket. You literally just get spoon fed. Go out there and.
Who's the king of spoon feeding you in your career? I know the answer.
D'Angelo Russell.
Oh my God! Sure. You average 10 points a game without dribbling the ball and shooting from inside a foot, right?
Actually, you average 8.8 points a game. I have it pulled up right now.
D'Angelo Russell. It was 10 points when I became a starter in that lineup.
All right, fair.
It was 10. I didn't get to play early on, but once I got in there, it was just stand under the rim and D. Russ will find you, and that was the case 90% of the time.
So is he your favorite teammate of all time?
That's a tough one. I wouldn't say
the court teammate, because we know Joey's your favorite overall teammate.
No, that's not what we're gonna do. You can answer honestly.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't have just one favorite, man. I love literally all my teammates that I have.
You want to give us a starting five of teammates?
Starting five?
Yeah, just of teammates.
Man.
For whatever reason.
But, like, what reason? Like, there's just so many. Are we talking
four
on
others?
The court?
4 others, because you're on the court. So four others.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you're on the court. You need him for whatever reason. It could be a great teammate like D'Angelo Russell because
3 minutes left. 3 minutes left in.
Wait, what are you saying? This has nothing to do with basketball.
No, I'm making it about basketball.
3 minutes basketball.
Okay, 3 minutes left.
Ooh, that's fine.
In an NCAA tournament game, you're on the court. Pick your 4 other teammates. Any of the guys.
That's a better question. And then who's on the bench? Yeah. That's not going to check in.
That happens to have a towel.
All right. Well. Definitely Kata and D. Russ are on there.
Okay.
Definitely. I mean, they're NBA guys.
Yes.
But we also are stamped. We got our room tattooed on our wrists. So
230.
They're ultimately in there. Sheesh.
It's not easy, right?
This is so tough, man. This is tough. Like, because I need a big man, right? I got to have a big out there.
But do you? Because the best lineup we had my junior year was you and Kata.
Bro, this is too much.
It's college, too. It's not professional basketball.
So you definitely need a big man.
No.
In college basketball, you need a dominant big man.
The last 3 minutes of the game, dude, you switch everything. JT, tell him. I mean, come on. It's all right.
Man, y'all caught me off guard. So, like, I don't know, man. Like, this is
I think you need a shooter in that lineup. So pick a
shooter,
or you could just throw out some names and then that'll convince you which ones are the.
How about I just name all of my guys?
Yeah, name your guys.
So hard. Like, I won't name everybody. Joey, you know.
I know. I know.
I love everybody. Like, I could go back from freaking Shannon Scott, Sam Thompson, Cam Williams.
I was gonna say Cam's probably the best compliment to the 3 that you've said so far.
Yeah, but Cam doesn't.
But Cam's not going to play anything.
Exactly. I was going to say Doc. And you said him.
I love Doc.
He doesn't need to touch He doesn't need to touch the ball on offense.
Listen. We're going to put him in a pick and roll, and we all know how Doc is in a pick and roll. But he is going to make sure that we huddle at every loose ball.
Need a coach on the court.
He's going to be the coach on the court. I just don't know, man. It's just that's a tough one for me.
I got an easy question though. Who are you picking for coach, Holtmann or Mata?
Oh, jeez.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, how about
that's tough?
That's not fair. We won't make you do that, but you should pick an assistant because we've had you and me have had 8 assistants together. You got to pick an assistant.
That question. We're going to have Chris Gent as the offensive coordinator.
Yes, I knew that.
I mean, that is for sure.
Wait,
Like,
you don't want Jimmy to be on the court with you as one of your teammates?
Jimmy? Nah, he can be on the bench.
What about Mickey Mitchell?
Hey,
He can be on the bench just in case we need to, get in an altercation.
yeah, we need him. Oh my God, nothing was better than my first day. And JT knows all these stories, obviously, and he can back me up with this. But my first day, Trevor Thompson calls shotgun in Mark Loving's car.
Oh, man.
and Mickey goes, no, Trev, I don't sit in the back. And they fought.
Like fist fight?
Man.
About shotgun. But Trevor was not going to fight Mickey because he's not dumb. Trevor's a lot of things, but he's not dumb.
They put a dent in Mark's car.
Oh, my God. It was like Trevor is 7 feet, and Mickey threw him into Trevor's car. And I'm sitting there like, I'm good with sitting in the middle. Like, this is my first day.
I can't believe that team didn't make the tournament.
Yeah. But that team was one of the most talented teams.
Oh, my God.
If you believe it. Like, we had some talent. Like, Mark Loving is one of the most skilled 6'9" guys I've ever seen in my life.
Those pickup games where it was Kada and Mark and Cam and Mickey and Jaquan and me watching.
Daniel Giddens took off from the free throw line the first day he got on campus. And I said, oh, man, this dude is DeAndre Jordan.
Well, he was. He just never really got a fair shake, and he also fouled a ton. But, right, like he never got a chance to be the guy.
When he took off from the free throw line and threw it in on Trev, I was like, oh, man, this is real.
Do you remember?
You got Jaquan.
Yeah.
Jaquan is like one of the, like, 6'5", skill, can shoot. Like, that team was
sneaky,
amazing.
athletic. I mean,
Cam Williams is the best open gym player I've ever seen.
Ever. It is not. It's seriously. It's he would. I talked about this in an interview my senior year when they were asking about guys in practice. I said Cam Williams would take me, Jake Lorbach, Jimmy Gent, and Coach Dickerson and beat the starters in practice.
Bro, he's nuts. He is like one-on-one. If we play king of the court, Cam wins.
Every time.
Miss.
And it doesn't matter who he's playing.
What if it's Sydney king of the court?
I don't know, man. Bo gets a tough guard.
Do you remember my first day with you guys?
Your first day.
When Mickey Mitchell and Trevor Thompson.
Well, no. But the basketball day, it was open gym on like Memorial Day. It was a Monday. We had off school.
Man, you know how old I am.
I know. But I only say that because whenever I talk to Daniel, he's like, Joe, that first day at open gym, and you walked in, and we were like, who is this 5'11" white dude we've never seen before? And I was like, and I made like 6. I won like 6 for 7 from 3, and I only played like 3 games because you guys wouldn't let me play.
You used to light it up. You used to light it up. Like, you still light it up. You just win a trophy after.
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
He won the Metro Media Jam.
Yes, sir.
Wait,
shooter.
JT, you know who came in second in that?
Who?
Me.
Hey, keep working, man. But shoot.
Hey, man, you were always.
It must be something in Deerfield. It must be in the water out there.
Hey, man, we work on our skills here. That's for sure. But you were always. One thing about you, and you were a great leader because you worked harder than everyone and played harder than everyone. That's obviously it's not easy, but it goes without saying for you because everyone knows that. But my favorite thing about you, leadership-wise, and this will all make sense when I finish this, was that you were always my biggest fan. I remember you telling my mom would tell me, Joe, JT's telling me you're practicing really well. I'm like, yeah, Mom, but it doesn't what? It doesn't matter. Like you would say stuff like, man, Joey on offense, like he's great, but shit, he can't play any defense at all. But you were my biggest fan when you're saying that still. So that's why you were the best. Because you would say that like stuff like that to Dockett. You'd be like, Doc, dude, I don't want anyone else on the court, but if you have an open 3, just pass it, okay?
Oh man, hey, he hit some big shots, and I'm so happy for you that that last year after I left, man, you actually got some time and you got out there and you lived your dream, man. And like I could just tell, like when you took that court and you had that look on your face, like it's my time, and you stepped into the shots, man, and you got the crowd into it, man. That put a real smile on my face. It really did.
Because
nobody knows the word, People walk on, but like walk on is an important part of the team, man. And like you go down in Ohio State history as one of the best walk-ons. That's for sure.
Geez, now I'm blushing. Thanks, buddy. I do appreciate that.
That's an oxymoron.
Yeah, great.
One of the best walk-ons. Whoa.
Yeah, the list is like 4 people long. Yeah. Well, that's fine. But
that's like saying you're one of the tallest horse jockeys.
Yeah, you're a jumbo shrimp.
Right, yeah.
I will say, while we're on the topic of walk-ons, you're go way back further than I do with you. Danny Hummer, it's his senior night next week, and he's 29 years old. That's pretty wild.
It's his senior discount night.
Yeah.
Hey, people don't know that me and Danny, growing up, had a arch rivalry, man. It was like Kobe. It was like Bird, Jordan.
Oh my God, who is Bird and who is Jordan?
I mean, that goes out.
Yo, do you want me to
Black guy.
Do you want me to cut that out and you can say Bird Magic? Because that was the real one.
Okay, it could be Bird Magic too.
You got more of a Magic Johnson game than a Michael Jordan game anyway, and that's a compliment.
Yeah, Bird. It was like Bird Magic, and man, we used to go at it. I'm talking about all the way from 3rd grade up to like 9th grade. My team versus his team in the championship, the Upper Arlington Golden Bears versus the the Pickerington Tigers. And there was multiple times Danny would hit the buzzer beater to win the game every game, man. And I really just couldn't stand Danny, man. Every time we played him, he would always, I'm like, we can't stop him. We can't stop him.
Can't stop Larry Bird.
And Danny actually, I think he was at the Air Force Academy.
Yeah.
And he hit me up. He's like, "Hey man, I really want to, transfer to Ohio State." And things went into place. And then next thing I know, Danny joined the team. Man.
Rivals become best friends.
I know Danny, man. He's cool. No, me and Danny were always best friends because
you guys played together, didn't you, in AAU?
Yeah, we played AAU, so we played summer ball together. But school ball
that made it more fun then.
Made it more fun because we would be on the same team in the summer, but then we would go and be on our different teams during the winter. And like me and Danny's had that long relationship. I remember I busted my head open in his backyard. Playing one-on-one versus him.
In the same house? At the same house?
Same house.
That's so funny. He's got the half-full court type of deal going on.
Half-full court, and it just got done raining. We actually had a tournament. I think we might have been playing against each other. I went over his house and went up to dunk, slid, busted my head straight open, man. At his house.
That's when the injury career started, right there.
I got up and I'm like, "No, I'm good." He's like, "No, bro, you're not good. Your eyes basically like swollen shut." Mom just come out freaking out. But that's one of the great memories I had, me and Danny growing up, for sure.
I love Danny because, first of all, he's literally 24 years old, and you've been a pro for 2 years. And
true.
and he is having a senior night. I just think that's why he's so great. Like everyone else, Danny is the stereotypical I want to stay in college for as long as I can type of guy. And, and it's just and you talk about me living my dream. He is living his dream right now.
That's for sure, man. That's for sure. Oh man.
JT,
we had some great times.
Oh yeah.
JT, something we always like to do is we like to open it up to the person we're interviewing to ask us any questions that they may have. So we're at that part of the interview where if you have any questions, now is the time.
Yeah, man. Nah, I mean, how's I guess I could ask, how's you can cut this part, but how's life after, like
no, this doesn't need to be cut. This is great. Life is hard. And I think it's different.
Like, how's the real world?
Dude, it stinks. And I think it's harder for me than for you because well, no. I mean, no. But like it's hard for him because he's in a different country. But like for me, I think one of the hardest parts is that I'm trying to find the right balance of staying close to the dudes and Ohio State basketball just in general, but then also like I got to start my own life after basketball. You know what I mean?
All right, we get it. You went to Ohio State.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like when you know how Jake Diebler is. When I come back there, he's like, "Oh, you're back," and I'm like, "Dude, I'm trying not to be like that." But I want to support while I can. I mean, it's not easy for me to get to Columbus, so like when they play in Madison, like I'm gonna go because it's only 2 hours from my house. You know, so like don't give me shit for that. No, but it's good, dude. Like I'm in the job hunt. You know, I had some shit go down. Some boring stuff that doesn't matter in terms of shit not working out and stuff, but I'm good, dude.
There's something else that you're up to also that I can't really think of. It's pretty fun. You get to do it with one of your good buddies.
Oh, this podcast? Well, yeah. I mean, hey, man, if you love something, it doesn't count as a job. You know that.
This is true. How is the podcast life, man? Like, what inspired you guys to do it?
I think we started because Andrew had me on a different podcast that he had with one of his buddies, and he said, you know what would be a great idea if you did like a tell-all for all your stories in like a 2-part, 3-part podcast series, you know, where like, you know, one episode we have Dockich on and we talk about me being a walk-on and him and yada, yada, yada. One episode we have Coach Mata on and talk about, you know, my first few years or whatever. And then when we did those, we ended up having Sully, Kraft, and Diebler for those episodes. And people really liked it. And so we were like, shit, let's just keep doing this. So we kept doing it. And it's been really fun. So
cool.
And it's just
maybe one day I'll have my own podcast.
Hey man, you
all right, let's not get carried away, JT.
JT, I just can't wait because you're gonna be a great broadcaster.
Oh man. I don't know.
Yeah, let's get to the end. Slow down, all right? The drive delayed bump doesn't work. That is not that good.
JT, before we let you go, because we know that you have the rest of the day over down under.
Down under.
Give us a couple.
Night.
We've talked about some Ohio State stories, but you got to give us one untold one that we either haven't touched on or something that you've been thinking about. You're like, shit, this story's got to get out.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any ones that aren't inappropriate, but let me think.
They can be inappropriate to an extent that you're comfortable with because we're fine with it as long as it's not about the stuff that we cut out earlier. Which I still can't believe. You're like, yeah, that's the one I'm going to ask.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was the one that popped in my mind, man. That's one of those. I think about that one in particular a lot.
But what other stories?
But, man, you caught me off guard.
But don't say that. I sent you a text saying be ready with stories.
I mean, yeah, you did. And I told a lot of PG stories today.
You have.
You know,
no, you're right. I'm no knock against you.
I think the best one was were you there when Coach Mata put all those balls on the rack?
That's a great story that we talked about Coach Mata with, but I would love to hear. I would love to hear you tell it and give us the Mata impression that you're so great at.
Man, there's so many good Coach Mata.
That's the best one though. That one and Trevor ripping his jersey are the two best ones by far. Yeah, not even close.
I think we just kept turning the ball over, and Coach Mata got a ball rack out, and he put 5 or 6 balls on there. And for every turnover, he would take a ball away. And, well, before that, remember, like that whole week leading up, every time we would turn the ball over, we had to go on the treadmill. They rode a treadmill out to the court.
Yep.
And you had to do, like, sprints on the treadmill with Coach Rich. It was or you had to do, like, push a sled.
Yep.
It was the craziest thing I've ever
We did that with Holtmann, though, a little bit, too. But that was different because we were doing that to try and take us to, like, a whole nother level, whereas before we were doing it as, like, a punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we had the ball rack out.
Ball rack out, and man, we went through those balls like
in 6 possessions.
in possession. It was terrible. And like after that last ball, like we all knew, like everybody. First of all, because we had already been practicing for like 3 hours. It was crazy.
Right.
People dead tired. That last ball dropped off the rack, man, and everybody's head just fell to the ground.
Everyone sighed at the same time.
I think I collapsed on the floor. And Coach Mata was like, "Oh, look at y'all, a bunch of babies." Like just going crazy, like start laughing, like, "Look at y'all." Like
evil laugh.
Evil laugh. And he just like, "You guys are so screwed up about those balls. Like, just play the game." And I don't know. Did he make us run?
He said, "You motherfuckers are so insane. I wasn't even gonna make you run, but now you guys are sulking. Where? Bunch of babies." He said, "We're gonna run at 22 now."
I remember the one time where he was like, I don't know what happened. I know it was Trevor. Trevor did something crazy, and he, Coach Mata, he's a little, he's a little. He's not disabled, but he has a little thing going on with that.
He is though. He's a little handicapped just because he had drop foot.
He's a little handicapped.
The health stuff is well known.
And he had one of the managers come over. He's like, "Come here, help me down." So he had the manager help him lay on the ground, and he's on the ground and he's just yelling, "Why? Why? Why?" And he's like, "All right, help me up. So the managers are picking him up off the ground and making sure he's standing up straight. And he's like, "I know it was because Trevor did something." Like, that was just one of the greatest things I loved about Coach Mata. Just those practices, man, especially him and Trevor. That was a duo.
Yeah.
Remember the first, I don't know if you were there, but it was like one of the first weeks. And the big, we usually split up bigs and guards. And you guys should cut the other stories. This one's a good one, though. And
we'll just cut everything, JT. You just tell us what to cut. We'll cut it all, okay?
And he splits it up bigs and guards. And the bigs are down there doing post-ups, like hook shots, up and unders, things big men do.
Big men move.
Trevor, for some reason, Trevor has made his way out to the 3-point line.
You know when this was? It was after he had 17 and 17 against UConn, I think.
No. That's another time. But this time, he's out, like, they're literally ducking. Like, they're doing duck-in dunks. And somehow Trevor's out shooting fadeaway threes. And I'm on the other end, with the wings and the guards. And a ball comes. Yeah, I used to dabble in both,
Of course.
I just walk around, You
do what you're told.
Sometimes I'm a big, sometimes a guard. And a ball comes flying at my head. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And Coach Dickerson is down there yelling at Trevor, we're out here doing big man work, and you're shooting fadeaway threes. How the hell did you even get out there?
Oh, I remember that. Oh, my God. No, Coach D, it was funny because Trevor was an unbelievable player, but there was just something – the coaches just butted heads with him. Like a lot of players. That happens to a lot of players. But the Trevor stories, I mean, I guess what we're going to have to do is you're going to come on after you win the championship, and we're just going to tell more stories. Because, I mean, there's just not enough time in the day. Even if it is already tomorrow in Australia, there's not enough time in the day.
There's not enough time. There's not enough time because Trevor Thompson needs a book.
Yeah. Well, maybe we need a book, and it'll be about him. So then we make the money.
No, but I mean, that could work because, like, Trevor is one of my greatest friends. I was just talking to Trevor like 2 days ago, and he's over there.
Teammated in Belgium too.
Former teammate. We have a championship together. Believe it or not.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I remember texting you when Trevor got signed by you guys, and we don't need to go into any more detail about that. But I just remember texting you.
Yeah. Believe it or not, me and Trevor is the only teammate that I have won a championship with. Isn't that the craziest thing?
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy.
And
Trevor, double T's, Buck Tweezy. Unreal.
Buck Tweezy. He goes by Buck Tweez now. And I'm really happy with the growth he's made from being that
he's a good dude.
Freshman in college to now. Like, he's matured so much, and like his game has grown so much, and he's having a great year over in Lithuania right now, man. Like, it's been a few weeks that he's been player of the week.
That's
so
awesome.
Like, I'm really excited to see what happens in these next few months and next year. I mean, because like I said, Trevor's one of the most skilled 7-footers that I've seen play the game.
100%. All right, JT, you're the man. This was so fun. I think it's safe to say that we're going to have you on again shortly because we could talk forever, but it was great to talk to you again. So happy for you, proud of you, all the stuff that's going on. The fam says hello, and they miss you. And I'm excited that you're going to be coming back in a couple of weeks because I will definitely make sure to see you while you're home.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. I hope that it turns out well. And like I said, thanks for having me on. It was great catching up. I know we got long-winded there at the end, but that's what happens when you get, good friends together that haven't really spoke about those great times and those memories, man. And that's just part of it.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. We will talk to you soon. Best of luck going forward. Bring home that ship for us, okay?
Yep.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Yep.
All right, we now welcome on to the Drive the Lane podcast, Chad Forbes. He's at NFL Draft Bites on Twitter, NFL aficionado, draft insider, analyst. Chad, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. So as we mentioned to you, we are a Ohio State-based podcast. Definitely want to hear your thoughts on the buzz around the draft right now with the high-profile Ohio State potential drafts.
Where to start? I think if you look at Burrow as an Ohio State guy, you're going to have three
Obviously.
in the top 5. Yeah, Joey Burrow from Eastern Ohio is going to be obviously the first overall pick by your Cincinnati Bengals down there in Hamilton County. And then you got Okudah and Chase Young, who are both going to go top 5. So it's obviously another great year for the Buckeyes. Urban Meyer really knew how to leave that cover pretty full when he left. And then there's a lot of depth guys behind them that should be, I'd say probably this year you'll see 8 to 10 guys go, which is pretty much the average for Ohio State.
Yeah, just another year for the Buckeyes.
Another year with a little bit more premium talent, I would say, in terms of getting 3 guys in the top 5 or 6 is, that's kind of unheard of.
It would be pretty darn cool if they went 1, 2, 3. I don't know how possible that is. I'm a basketball guy, not a football guy. I don't know what each team needs necessarily. But if those 3 guys went 1, 2, 3, I know Ohio State football Twitter account would be tweeting out some things about that. That's for sure.
Yes, it's definitely possible. I think you're seeing a lot of mock drafts, but I think the Lions end up trading down. So I see it going Burrow and then Chase Young and then one of the other quarterbacks, whether it's Tua or Herbert. But Okudah is probably going to go either 5th or 6th.
Are there any teams that you've heard or any news you've heard that are like, we want Okudah no matter what?
It's been the Lions have been connected to him forever, and it just makes so much sense because they play the most man coverage of any team in the league. And just look at the guy, he's stud in man coverage and really has all the physical traits of a corner. He kind of looks like Stephon Gilmore and plays like him, who obviously is over in New England. Patricia has some familiarity with. So he and the Lions has been kind of the connection for just you're going to see it in every mock draft. If you go out and look at those things, Okudah to the Lions, time after time. And it'll be interesting to see if anybody tries to get creative and project something else in there to Detroit.
Yeah, so some guys that are maybe going to go later first round, second round. J.K. Dobbins is a name you're hearing a lot with the Chiefs. Are you hearing anything about him?
Yeah, I love J.K. Dobbins. He's my top running back, and I don't think a running back will end up going in the first round. But in the second round, between him, DeAndre Swift from Georgia, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire from LSU, there's a really good running back class. It'll be interesting to see how Dobbins works out. I think he's going to run pretty fast. And, he just had a great career at Ohio State. I don't necessarily see him to the Chiefs, but I think the Dolphins make some sense in round 2 at 39. I don't see him getting outside the top 50. I think he goes somewhere between 33 and 40.
So the Buckeyes have a couple wide receivers in the draft, between Austin Mack, Benjamin Victor, KJ Hill. Last year we saw Terry McLaurin have an incredible rookie year, and obviously we know Michael Thomas, Curtis Samuel, all these Buckeye wide receivers. Do you think the previous success of Ohio State wide receivers will have an impact on where a KJ Hill type guy goes in this draft?
They asked that question to Jim Nagy yesterday, who runs the Senior Bowl. I said, which one of these guys is the next Scary Terry McLaurin? He said none of them, and he's probably right. That's such a rarity for a guy to come out of the third round, just have that impact that he did his rookie season. I think all three of those guys will have a really good chance of making rosters. The one that I'm really intrigued by is Mack. We kind of know what Hill is, and Benjamin Victor, he's kind of like a fringy draftable prospect. But with Mack, he was a really high recruit. He's got a lot of physical talent, just not much production. So I think he could be a guy you can get in the 6th round, 5th round that could end up surprising people.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any that does not have to be Ohio State, any prospects that are very under the radar that you're like, I'm confident this guy's going to be a good pro?
Jonah Jackson from Ohio State is a really underrated guy. He's transferring from Rutgers that played guard for the Buckeyes this past year. And the more I see him, the more I like. Some people will say he's a little bit overage in the sense that he's going to be a 24-year-old rookie, which some teams aren't really excited about. They think the younger guys have more kind of development pipeline. But I think someone's going to get a really, really solid player in Jonah Jackson. Jordan Fuller, the safety, he's a good player. He should make a team, might develop into a starter. The Buckeyes, they have Devon Hamilton. They got a lot of great prospects. It's every year with Urban Meyer. It's just been, really back to Florida. You just keep seeing him turn out some great prospects.
You mentioned briefly about how Jonah Jackson, you see him as an older rookie, and obviously it's hoop season right now. We've been talking a lot about hoops and in basketball. That's absolutely comes into play during the draft season. You see it all the time. They take a 19-year-old guy with a lot of potential versus a proven 22-year-old senior. Is that something that happens often in the NFL as well?
It's just seen as guys that are like 24 coming in are, I guess, considered overage in the sense that when you're getting to their second contract, they're going to be 28 or 29 years old. Would you want to sign them to that? I don't really see the downside to it, especially at a position like guard. I think some teams view it as a real negative, the more analytically based teams, and then other teams say it's not a huge issue. So it really depends on what your flavor is.
Who's your top 5 quarterbacks for this draft? I know Burrow 1, I assume 2 at 2, but then kind of feel like it differs for everyone after that.
But it really depends to me on where they're going, what the fit is, and who the coach is. So obviously, like if I take a kid, I don't get to coach him, which obviously I wouldn't even be qualified to do. But it's like if, for example, if Justin Herbert ended up in Tampa Bay, I think that would be an awful fit. I think he'd have a terrible career. With quarterbacks, fit matters so much. So I'm just going to say, who are my top 5 as much as where do these guys fit? I think there's going to be a real discussion about, is Justin Herbert the best quarterback in this draft? Because physically his tools are the best. And, Joe Burrow, it's like these kind of guys always get kind of hurt throughout the draft process. Is the guys like him that have great tape, but not necessarily great like physical measurements
like
or
small hands.
It's not even that. It's like he doesn't have the biggest arm in the world. He probably wouldn't run fast. It's like everything he does is like he plays football very well. And as the draft process wears on, we get more excited about the athletes instead of the players. It's kind of like we get excited about a prospect instead of a football player. So Joe Burrow, there could be a conversation that Herbert might be some people's top quarterback, but I just don't see the Bengals not taking Joe Burrow. I think that, they should bring him in for their, that private visit. They can bring in 30 guys. They should just begin installing the playbook with him. I think that's just done deal.
While we're on the topic of quarterbacks, we've done our research and done our stalking of your Twitter account, and we as Buckeye fans have a direct relationship with Georgia because they chose the wrong quarterback to keep over there. For those who don't know, can you explain your feelings about Jake Fromm?
Jake Fromm is Aaron Murray, and Aaron Murray is the quarterback right now, the unsuccessful quarterback of the worst team in the XFL, the Tampa Bay Vipers. And Jake Fromm's this really nice guy. Sure, you'd love him to bring home your daughter, but that doesn't win football games. Drafting guys like that gets you fired. So all this love for Jake Fromm, it's ridiculous. Like the guy, like how you could be the head coach of the University of Georgia, right? And have Jacob Eason, who's a 6'6" kid who looks like Ben Roethlisberger, has the biggest arm I've ever seen, and then have the Ohio State quarterback currently Fields, and be like, nah, I'm gonna roll with Jake Fromm. Like, it's ridiculous to me. Like, it's like, Kirby, what were you thinking?
Oh,
I think Georgia probably wins the national championship this year with Justin Fields. You know, I guess that's tough because LSU is arguably the best team ever, quote unquote, this year. But I think Fields just makes them unbeatable.
Yeah, I mean, Fields is something else. Like, LSU seems like a team of destiny this year, but I mean, just Fields is like, it's already going to be a conversation between him and Trevor Lawrence, or who's going to be the best quarterback in next year's draft. And Trevor Lawrence, to most people, is the best quarterback prospect, maybe since John Elway or Andrew Luck. So it just tells you how highly people think of Justin Fields. He's a really good player. And like, if you're a coach and you can't figure out that Justin Fields, and I understand there were some like weird circumstances that happened at Georgia where a baseball player made a racist comment towards him and he transferred. But like, I think if people were really serious about it, like if he was the starting quarterback and there wasn't any BS of I'm going to use this guy who like probably should be selling insurance for Allstate, then like Justin Fields stays at Georgia. They probably win the SEC and roll on to like, bigger and better things.
Isn't it just crazy though that I've heard some stuff about Jake Fromm lately because honestly they talked. Joe Burrow had small hands, but Jake Fromm had smaller hands, so then they started talking about Jake Fromm, and it is crazy how if he, and obviously you can't, if he would have left after his freshman year, people would have thought he was the second coming to Jesus. How good of a quarterback he was, And then
I mean, the things that I heard about it, I've been like about this for maybe a year and a half now. When somebody tried to say that he's the next Drew Brees, I just that's ridiculous. Like, sure, like just because a guy's undersized, like does well in the SEC, like you're seeing it now. Like people love this Auburn quarterback, Bo Nix, because like he was somewhat competent as a freshman on campus for Auburn. Like, sorry guys, Bo Nix is not going to be like the next big thing. He's not winning like the Heisman Trophy. Like, he got bailed out in games by an incredible defense. Like Jake Fromm had so much talent around him at Georgia that, I mean, it's kind of like at Ohio State. Like, a pretty mediocre quarterback could probably go there and be like 10-2 in the Big Ten.
Well, that's what kind of happens.
CC JT Barrett.
Yeah, JT Barrett's the best college quarterback ever statistically, and look at him now. He's a great practice player.
Like, it's concerning last year. I said the same thing. It was concerning that Dwayne Haskins couldn't beat out JT Barrett. And now JT Barrett's, he's trying to become like a wide receiver. I think he's on the Steelers practice squad. Like back to Mitch Trubisky at UNC.
Whoa, we don't know Mitch Trubisky slander. Big Bears fan
the Polish Prince?
Yeah. The Polish
Like, it was concerning that he couldn't win the starting quarterback job at University of North Carolina. You know what I mean? Like,
football
Burrow,
young.
I don't have that many
Football
concerns
young.
about he couldn't win the Ohio State job.
You're right. It is crazy that there are anomalies in that theory. But that's something that I don't think I'm more than a casual football fan, but not much more than that. I don't really think about that when Dwayne Haskins plays 1 year and leaves. It's like how many great NFL quarterbacks played 1 year because they didn't beat someone out. It's just it is kind of it's different.
It's like if you look at the kids in this draft, I mean, literally half of them transferred around because they didn't win a starting job. There's only one that gets to play. If you want to hear a funny story though, Joe Burrow had two older brothers, right? They both went to Nebraska. They were actually teammates with Zach Taylor in Nebraska. So the family has some long ties. His dad's a college coach, like really well known in the coaching community. Joe Burrow was like knocking on the door at Nebraska saying, I want to go here. And they wouldn't offer him a scholarship.
Yeah, they said, I remember because, the Scott Frost came out and said, like he wouldn't have beaten out any of our guys or whatever. And it's like, well, right. Scott.
Right. Scott Frost, who has been really mediocre there, and they just gave a contract extension through 2035 because they're like, we'll never do any better.
2035.
Burrow couldn't start there because your last name has to be Armstrong to start in Nebraska. Haven't they had 3 Armstrongs in a row?
I don't know. I don't get to watch that much Nebraska football, frankly.
Oh, you don't? Oh no.
When do you really start tuning in terms of draft analysis? Do you watch from week 1?
Yeah, I mean, I watch college football. I watch every week. I'm watching the SEC games. I'm watching Pac-12 at late at night, which is a lot of fun. If you're a big football fan, you want to watch some fun football, you go to the Pac-12 on Saturday night. The score is 73 to 55. Like no defense whatsoever. Sometimes I watch the Big 12 games, but those are kind of a little bit of popcorn soft football. So I watch the SEC. right? And then I look at the prospects outside the SEC kind of as the draft comes. I'll watch a couple of their games live, and then I'll try to catch a couple clips of their games on tape.
I'm going to throw out a couple names for you. Can you give me a sentence for these players? Jordan Love.
Is he the next Patrick Mahomes?
Whoa. That was a question, not. Well, I guess he said sentence. So, yeah never mind. You're good.
T. Higgins.
Why didn't he run his 40 today? Because he's slow.
DeAndre Swift.
5'9", 214 pounds. If I was a betting man, I would take over on his 4.4740.
Oh, well, this is.
Can you bet on that
This
stuff?
is going to come out after he runs the 40, so we'll see.
That'll be good,
though.
though.
Someone that's like 5'9", 220 can run like his legs are like, little. Well, you said one sentence, but anyway, he's a good back. He's a second-round back.
All right, Albert Okwuegbunam.
Wow, did he run fast today?
Yeah, wow, he did run fast. I actually went to Missouri, so I was a little shocked to see Alberto run a faster 40 than Kelly Bryant. That was a little surprising.
Yeah, he looks lost half the time on the field, but
yeah,
the guy can run.
I think he's a tight end version of Mike Evans, but that's a very high ceiling.
No, but I love the NFL. They're like, the combine doesn't matter. All it does is confirm what's on tape. Like nonsense. Like he ran a 4.59, and now he's going to go in the third round. When most people were saying he's probably a fourth or fifth round guy coming into the week. Like, there's a direct correlation between successful tight ends and running fast down the seam, and he can do that.
Are there any? Do you have any more players that you want to say?
Yeah, one more.
Oh, okay, sorry. And then
we didn't really do a big conversation about this guy, Chase Young.
Dominant, like in the conversation with Julius Peppers, Mario Williams, Myles Garrett, as one of the best pass rush prospects ever. I get a kick out of people that say that he wasn't that productive this past year. I'm like, what were you watching?
What?
Like people are like, I have some concerns with his production on tape. I was like, did you watch the Michigan offensive line literally like frightened of the man?
I think people watch and look at his stats when he was triple teamed in the Big Ten championship and the playoff game, and then you're like, oh, he didn't have any production.
Yeah, when the lights were shining the brightest, he didn't do anything.
Right.
Yeah, because he was quadruple teamed.
Because every player, including the quarterback, was trying to block him.
Right, like, I mean, you saw in that playoff game, like, they must have rolled out away from Chase Young, like, 7 or 8 times. Like, sometimes they were just like, oh, no, our tackle's tired. We have no chance of blocking. Let's just roll out right and try to get rid of it quickly.
He is there are 2 types of gigantic. There is Taco Fall, who we were with the other day, who is just a mountain of a person. And then there's Chase Young, who might be, all things considered, one of the biggest people I've ever stood next to. He just can't. That's why I think the same thing with Devon Hamilton. They can't have bad careers. They're so massive.
Yeah, I mean, Chase Young is really impressive. Like, he's like, he reminds you of like Miles, the Bosa's or Myles Garrett, but he's probably more athletic.
Oh,
do you think it's I'm trying to think how to phrase this. Is it weird or is it a bad thing that he's not going number 1, even though he's probably the best prospect?
No, I mean, the Bengals need a quarterback who will actually say, like, sure, I'd love to become a part of your dysfunctional family. And it seems like Joe Burrow's that guy. He's like, sure, like,
whoever will pay me.
That's
what he says.
Not, but I guess I'll do it.
Oh, I love that.
I have a
Wait, let me ask my question,
right,
please,
sorry.
that I've been waiting on. As I said before, I'm a basketball guy. There's got to be some big tight end prospect that's a basketball player this year.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I've always wondered why more like a couple years ago they tried to get a kid out of George Mason to play left tackle. I've always wondered why people don't do that. But there's a bunch of kids in this. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch basketball enough to know, but there's got to be the next Antonio Gates out there. Now, it's funny. If you guys are in Ohio, though, back to the Bengals, the dysfunctional Bengals. So during the CBA negotiation, there's a rule, right, where you have to spend 90% of the salary cap over 3 years, right?
Yep.
The biggest issue Mike Brown had with the collective bargaining agreement was how high they were going to raise that number. He wanted to spend the least amount of money possible.
Oh, man.
So, like, the whole idea that, the Bengals aren't a dysfunctional franchise, no, they're cheap as hell.
What about bringing Hugh Jackson back in after he got fired from the Browns? That was pretty functional.
Is Hugh Jackson back? No, he's not.
No, I'm talking about that season when they brought him back
I know.
in.
Last I heard of Hugh Jackson, he got sent down to Atlanta to work out Colin Kaepernick, and Kaepernick moved the area of they were going to have to work out the Falcons facility, and they moved it to a local high school People speculated why, but Hugh Jackson, rather than going to work out at high school, just packed his stuff up and went back to the airport. And somebody texted me, "Do you think Hugh went back to the airport because he was pissed that Kaepernick moved the workout, or he was just really confused?"
I bought his cameo.
His
for my
whole
little
income is
brother.
cameo now.
What's that?
I bought. Sorry, we both said that at the same time. I bought. You know the app Cameo.
Yeah. Oh, to watch that?
Yeah, I bought his cameo and had him say something to my little brother, and I got him to say something like, "I hope you're enjoying watching the Browns. You're welcome for drafting Baker." Something like that.
Hugh Jackson. I mean, could there be anything better for Huey than doing the cameos? I mean, that's just great. Like, talk about a guy that was. You know what? The Browns haven't done a lot without him, so it's hard to get on Huey, even though he was, I guess, 1-31.
Yeah,
people give him a bad rep. He was a
Don't
winner.
you love how Browns fans all of a sudden think we're really turning the corner now? Like,
Yeah, well, as a Bears fan, I try to stay a little bit away from making fun of teams and their success, just because we were supposed to be Super Bowl champions as well this year. So
MVP Mitch Trubisky, huh?
Oh, jeez. What?
You really don't
Who
like
is this
Mitch.
guy? Who is this guy?
The Polish Prince, I call him.
Wait, okay. I guess while we're on the topic of Bears, tell me if my theory is insane. I think the Bears have like $13 million in cash base or something. We shell out a little bit. We cut a few more guys, and we bring in Tom Terrific to be our quarterback, and Mitch is our prince in waiting.
The Prince is not waiting for anything if you're getting the king, all right? But Tom Brady's not going to Chicago. You know, they're going to go after, like, but what the general manager there is going to do is what I hate when guys do this too, is he's bought into Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, yeah,
right?
he made the announcement and everything. They're 100%
He's staked his
behind him.
career on it. So, like, now he knows he has to bring in competition, but he's going to bring in a guy that he actually thinks Mitch has a chance of beating out. So, like, David Carr or Derek Carr, whichever his name is, the one that plays for the Raiders.
Derek Carr.
He's probably too good to bring in his competition,
He is,
right?
because they
So what
beat
he's
us
gonna
last
do
year.
is He's going to blame the fact that, well, his salary's too high. I can't get him for you, Matt Nagy. He's going to go get the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, to come in, because Andy Dalton, I've always said there's a threshold, right? If your quarterback isn't better than Andy Dalton, then you have a problem, right?
So that will
Like,
prove
he's the perfect
they'll
guy
prove
to
it.
come in to compete with Mitch Trubisky. If Trubisky beats out Dalton, then you know what? I'm wrong. Ryan Pace is correct. He can play quarterback in the NFL. If not, then you got to look for a new guy.
But he probably wouldn't, right?
I don't know. I mean, they got to make a decision on whether to pick up his option. They're not going to pick up that $24.5 million.
That's pretty crazy.
I think
But you know,
I got faith in Mitch.
I think
more than you, obviously.
An underrated mistake that the Bears made was
Trading 100 picks for him?
Well, and the wide receiver class last year was so good, and they got Riley Ridley out of it, and they traded their second-round pick last year for what ended up being Anthony Miller, when last year there was DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel,
Wait, no,
Marquise
but
Brown.
you're forgetting that we drafted Kevin White 7th overall.
True. But
yeah,
that was a
Kevin
different
White and Leonard
GM.
Floyd back to back.
Wait, how'd you rate Kevin White beyond
Coming
the
out?
injuries?
I remember Kevin White coming out he was a Lackawanna junior college transfer to West Virginia. And
just sounds
I remember
so
his coach, listen to this one. His coach at Lackawanna Junior College in Pennsylvania said, he's the second best wide receiver I've ever coached in my career. They asked who was the best. It was some guy named David Reed, who was in the NFL for a minute. I said, if Kevin White isn't your best wide receiver you've ever coached at Lackawanna Junior College, then this guy's not going to work in the NFL.
He's still a rookie.
What's
Kevin
that?
Wright. Kevin White. Kevin wrong.
Kevin White from West Virginia?
Yeah, he's still a rookie.
He hasn't accrued a season.
Yeah, he's still a rookie.
He's actually still a sophomore at West Virginia.
Talk about football young. If Mitch is football young, then I don't know what Kevin White is.
He's football
I
senior.
mean,
He's
Kevin
done.
White made like one good play, I remember, for the Bears, and I was shocked.
Oh yeah, he caught a 53-yard pass, and Barstool Big Cat tweeted, "Thank God our first-round pick has showed up," and then he had shin splints the next game and was out probably. So,
But you know what? They've done some pretty, like, and I get on Ryan Pace a lot because of MVP Mitch, but Eddie Jackson, Tariq Cohen, they've nailed some mid-round picks there pretty good.
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, that was very nice of you and big of you to say.
A concession by me. I mean, Adam Shaheen, he'll never live that one down, but yeah.
Oh jeez.
All right,
I just think the Bears. You know what they need? They need another white safety. That's probably what they need.
Yeah, they need their Adam Archuleta come back from
Exactly. Oh jeez.
All right, man. We
Now
appreciate
Bears.
you coming on. Any more quick little nuggets for us before we let you go?
Well, tell me, is Ohio State basketball any good this year? Should I take them in my bracket?
You know what? Let me tell you this. In a year where there's a lot of stuff going on, obviously. There's a lot of parity, and the teams are beating all different types of teams. The Big Ten is beating up on each other, and it's going to go one of two ways. You can either take the Big Ten to have a lot of teams advance or none of them advance. It won't be in between. And since we're an Ohio State podcast, they're going to the Elite Eight.
All right, then who's your pick to win it all?
It's got to be Kansas. That's the safest pick, but I love Creighton.
I think Gonzaga does it this year.
Whoa, that'd be crazy. I think Creighton is awesome. That's a great sleeper team. BYU shoots a lot of threes, and they have a great big man, so like that is important in tournament. They get hot. Those are some teams that people will be impressed by when you get them right.
And West Virginia is very good, and they're playing for Kevin White.
I take West Virginia every year, and I get screwed. But
well, West Virginia's lost 6 to 7 games right now, so they're not good graces with me.
All right,
and they beat Ohio State.
You guys have given me my extent of my bracket research. I thank you, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for coming on.
Maybe we'll have you on right before the draft.
That sounds great. Take care, guys.
Thank you, man.
Have a good one. Later.
We hope you enjoyed those interviews. We figured something out.
We enjoyed these interviews.
And we figured something out. If you want to win Big Ten Player of the Year, you need to average 18.5 to 19 points.
Because we went down the list, and the only guy in the last – well, Keita averaged actually the most out of any of these guys, and he was 19.8. But
6.
No, it was 8 on the thing. This is on the internet. But this is all – like full year stats. So in the Big Ten, I think it's safe to say that most of these guys probably average closer to 20, if not more than 20. But like I think Luka Garza's averaging 20. But
I'm gonna look. I'll fact check you right now.
But so if we go back, last year was Cassius. He was 18.8. Year before Keita, 19.8. Year before that was Caleb Swanigan, I think. He was
18.8
18.6. Year before that was Denzel Valentine. He was 19 point something.
Holy shit!
What?
Garza is gonna fucking bust this theory.
Yeah.
23.5.
Yeah, that's why I thought that everyone's gonna have 20 points.
Wow, he is busting this theory.
Yeah, except for he has probably 9 points tonight.
He is busting this theory, and today they are up 13, and he is 16.
They're not up 13.
They're up 55 to 42.
What? Oh, I swear I was watching the game. They're just up 6.
Yeah, 55-42. 55-42. Garza has 16.
All right, Garza.
So is Garza the best Big Ten player of the last 10 years, points-wise?
I guess Frank the Tank, dude. Though I thought Frank Kaminsky was gonna be like 22 and 10. Nope, 19. They all had 19. Even Nick Stauskas. He won a Big Ten Player of the Year. He averaged 18.
Sauce
Castillo. Sauce Castillo. Dockage's teammate.
I cannot believe that Garza's averaging. We should probably know this kind of stuff, but I just can't believe that he's averaging 23.5.
Well, I knew he was averaging 20. I told you that, and you were like, no, let me fact check you.
Well, the last 50 Big Ten Player of the Years have not averaged 20 points a game. And I know someone's going to reply to this and probably be like, you guys are so dumb. Stauskas averaged 20.3 in Big Ten play. We're not talking about Big Ten play. We're talking about for the whole season.
Well, if they do respond, that'd be good. We love a little interaction.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, Joe?
I think that's it.
There's a long episode. No way anyone besides Josh Schaffner is still listening. What up, Schaff?
And my dad.
Yeah. All right. We hope you enjoyed
we
this
call
episode.
We call my dad something. Me and LeBron, who we've referred to on the show before, have continuously given him a bunch of nicknames that now have turned into his middle names. So we call him Scotty, Darnell, Bitmoji, Rewind, Run It Back, Lay Out for It, 3 Drinks at Breakfast Lane. All nicknames.
Should we
There's more
put
too.
that on a T-shirt? Hashtag.
We should get it on a
That's
t-shirt.
like LeBron's hashtag
Just a sports fan with no dog in the fight, but I love sports, and I'm a sports guy, and I love sports.
Yeah. We love sports, and we don't care who knows. Have you seen that video, Lonely Island?
Yeah.
All right, I'll show you after this.
I love sports, too.
All right, that's it. Buckle up and drive the lane. Look for that meme that I'll be posting very shortly.
Go Buckeyes.
Very
It
shortly.
already has been posted.
Yeah, I meant very shortly after this.
So hopefully you guys retweeted it.
Buckle up, drive the lane.
Go Buckeyes.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and you know we got Buck IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.